Phoenixes are so cool, man, and the Frostheart Phoenix especially is an absolute legend. Shout out to Felcon. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, what a beaut. And today, this is not Felcon, this is actually Lenorm, not even Ryder Rohan, going to be taking this absolute bird build here into the Lizardmen. We've got Alariel the Radiant leading the way. Looks like just healing. Yeah, just straight up Earthblood and Star of Averlorn only. Frostheart, of course, doesn't have its own innate self-healing, but is quite tanky with 48 melee defense, decent armor, physical resistance, or damage resistance even. Ward save of 10%, while magic is high. Yeah, winds of magic 15 or greater, so that's nice. Arcane Phoenix is here also, the most powerful, has the rebirth, has the fire damage, you know, has some physical resistance, everything else, the flaming diarrhea, of course. And then, just to top things off, we've got a couple of Phoenix Guard as well. Some archers, and a front line of spearmen. Looks like 3 Phoenix Guard, actually. So all the Phoenixes in this particular build, and they will need every one of them against this Lizardman build here. Very heavy with Mazdamundi on Zlak, and the Shredder of Lustria, Dread Saurian Regiment of Renown. Bunch of skink cohorts, of course, to make up the rest of the army, since all that spend is on monsters. We've also got a Bastildon Rev Crystal for extra healing, Feral Cold Ones. So basically, like, as wide as possible around these 2 units, while still having a somewhat functional army with some mobility, some missiles. I don't know, Skink Skirmishers might have been a little bit of a better pick here. They're a little bit of an awkward trade, because they can't shoot, you know, in an arc over the top of the heads of their compatriots very well to countershoot archers, but they have a lot more ammo than the Javelins do. Javelins are obviously a melee unit as well. So, yeah, it says missile infantry, but really they're just these guys with precursor volleys, right? So, yeah, a little bit of an odd trade. It is going to give the high health missiles a very significant ranged advantage here, but the biggest thing is just for Lizardmen to bully through with their high mass and try and disrupt the archers. Maybe get those Feral Cold Ones in on the side, but a nice little disruption there with the Arcane Phoenix. Drops its absolute cone of fire onto the heads of those poor skink cohort, and they do take some solid damage. Again, not the most expensive unit in the world, but it's something. You got to use it on something. Some kind of multi-model unit, and there's pretty much only cheap ones in this build for the Lizardmen. So, let's see how it goes. Skink's going to run forward here. Activate that shield of the old ones. Again, it is just shielding skinks, but it is going to shield Mazdamundi a little bit, I guess, as he advances from that archer fire. Little apotheosis on himself, so he's basically taking no damage here, and he runs in against the bird squad. Red Saurian slowly following up behind. But Mazdamundi, without their charge bonuses active, isn't going to be at too much risk from these birds. The Shredder also moves in. But here come the Phoenix Guard, I would imagine. Well, still hanging back for the time being. Protecting from those Feral Cold Ones. But definitely need to get at least 1 unit in there against these elites. Yep, here comes the Shredder, just busting through the front line. Cares not for your puny spears. Gonna come in and start smashing up these archers. Alariel and the Phoenixes quickly heal from that frontline engagement. They're going to move back here and respond. Little apotheosis there on the Shredder as it tries to just push through the Phoenixes to get back to safety of Mazdamundi. Support of the Rev Crystal. Let's see here. The repositioning of the Phoenix Guard does leave these archers a little bit exposed to the Feral Cold Ones. They're able to get in and rout pretty much all of them. Yep, all 3 archers been shut down, so it's going to be pretty much just a melee grind from this point on. We'll see. Feral Cold Ones probably should stay on it and just keep chasing these routing units. If any spears were to rout as well, they'd be great targets to chase down, or even drop a quick rear charge, perhaps. But let's see. Looks like those ones on the high ground are going to do so. We'll see if we can see them in the background here as we watch these single entities fight. Lariel pulling back, the Arcane Phoenix standing firm. The thing about the Phoenixes is, even though they seem like kind of lightweight class monsters, at least in the case of the Arcane Phoenix, it can kind of stand in here and take a beating for a while due to the rebirth mechanic. You know, giving it the ability to heal itself for a significant amount of burst. The rest can be sustained by Alariel in terms of the actual Phoenix Guard and the Frosty Boy. Let's watch Frosty Boy here for a minute as he fights with the beautiful silvery high elven spears. I say beautiful. Not really a fan of the cone hats personally, but I know that's some people's thing, so there you go. All the magical effects going off as well. Big healing from Alariel's side. Not that they really need it. I mean, I don't know if they're actually taking that much damage here, but still helps to sustain these units. Well, the infantry maybe. Yeah, those spearmen definitely benefited quite a bit from that healing. Alariel takes a big hit, seems like as soon as it drops, so it's kind of the nature of dice rolls sometimes. But still good usage of the healing. I can't criticize too much. Frosty's going to stay trapped in the triangle of big, heavy lizards here, but then once the Shredder moves away, it's able to escape. I don't know, Lizardmen, if they had targeted all three monsters onto the Frosty right there, maybe could have actually taken him out pretty quickly, but decent Ruination of Cities, not the best. Could have been better contact on those Phoenix Guard, but definitely respect the attempt. Mazdamundi, did he take the banishment also? I think I've maybe seen it go off here. He did, so yeah, saving these abilities as much as possible for the Phoenix Guard. It's going to depend a little bit on RNG. Looks like he's already used the Ruination of Cities, so yeah, I don't know if he was able to get the best contact on those Phoenix Guards, unfortunately, and that is going to be pretty painful. Yeah, looks like here comes the banishment, trying to sort of force the Phoenix Guard to blob up around him, and it does some pretty solid damage, but Lenorm doing a good job of pathing most of the other infantry away and not taking unnecessary damage from that banishment. It is going to still do quite a bit, though, and these two Phoenix Guard both getting some healing. One is going to get terrified away by the Shredder there. But Mazdamundi getting 2v1'd by these Phoenixes as the Shredder just fights whatever else. Gonna be painful for the Lizardmen. Yeah, even the Distilled on here getting distracted, fighting like one Phoenix Guard bro. So, single entity fights often are decided by numbers, and the 2v1 here, the Phoenixes, no problem besting Mazdamundi, even for a short while the other single entities are busy. Just kind of locally, you can get that superiority, and often it can be quite decisive. We'll see. Balance of power starting to swing against the Lizardmen here, and loss of Mazdamundi would be significant, obviously. His magic is quite powerful. He's quite expensive also on that mount, so he might be able to escape, though, and his leadership is high enough that if he is able to escape, he's likely to be able to heal himself back up. Gets a little apotheosis there, as long as he doesn't take too much burst damage, which, I mean, the Phoenixes are decent in a grind. They're not crazy burst damage. Weapon strength is not particularly high. Yeah, it's decent. But especially with the poison from the Howdah of the Shredder, and I guess from the Distillodon, right? Also has a Howdah on the back. Going to be getting that consistent poison. It's basically just, you know, whenever you're fighting Lizardmen, you have to just factor in that loss of weapon strength as pretty much permanent. I mean, maybe in a few Lizardmen builds you won't be permanently poisoned, but it's kind of like fighting Nurgle. You just expect to be poisoned all the time. That said, Phoenixes are standing quite firm. The debuff aura also, it must be said, for the Frostheart Phoenix, probably doesn't get talked about enough. It didn't have a slowing component for a long time, and the Frostbite melee attack also wasn't present for the longest time, but these days, it's quite a powerful debuff. A little bit of weapon strength, the -8 melee attack in particular. The fact that the, you know, all these high elf units have high melee defense to begin with. You can see Mazdamundi only 18 melee attack. I mean, bonus versus infantry, of course, versus the Phoenix Guard, but still, versus the Phoenix itself, without that 70 charge bonus, it's pretty tough for Mazdamundi to get any hits against these, like, even Alariel at 40 melee defense on the Eagle is going to be pretty safe. I mean, she's up to her healing cap. Obviously, she's taking quite a beating, but still, relatively speaking. But, yeah, Frosty Boy, unfortunately, getting caught in the high mass, kind of awkward pathing there. Gets hit by Feral Cold Ones from behind, Shredder of Lustria. Able to get a few solid hits there, but very quickly getting distracted. It is one big problem with the Shredder and Red Saurians in general. But here comes the Arcane Phoenix back over with Alariel kind of fighting 2v2. Again, I say 2v2, but the Rev Crystal's actually not doing anything in the single entity fight. It's just getting beaten down by Phoenix Guard here. Probably not great. Yeah, the fact that it's just Phoenix Guard left and the Lizardmen are kind of forced to fight on top of them to a degree. What else are they going to do? But, yeah, very uncomfortable situation. Phoenixes and the Phoenix Guard all together. Absolutely beautiful. Soak up some of these gorgeous cinematics. Let the beautiful sound effects and music play a little bit. Double Phoenix Squad plus Ilario. The triple birds definitely getting their words in, and Mazdamundi is routed. I would imagine army losses are going to be fairly quick to follow. Shredder of Lustria is starting to lose leadership. It's about half HP. And, you know, these kind of all-in monster strategies with healing can be quite good. Against the High Elves specifically, because they're more of a balanced faction, it's a little bit risky. This is, I would say, a better way to go against more monster-heavy factions, like maybe, you know, Warriors of Chaos. Depending on what they do, they can kind of do some different things, but this is a strategy that honestly works very well against them, you know, like Beastmen, other factions which you might expect to maybe take some big monsters, you know, Nurgle, eventually even Zinch. You can try and bully some big monsters here, but I mean, both Mazdamundi and the Shredder of Lustria got insane value. Hard to say they didn't pay for it themselves. Of course, inflated values from healing on the High Elf side from their single entities, but you still have to deal the damage. But yeah, man, Frosty Boy, 25, 23, 90, 800 damage dealt. That's pretty high value damage, definitely. They did a good job of staying focused on those high value targets. Same thing. Yeah, Arcane Phoenix didn't even get as much value. A little bit higher kill totals from the AoE damage effects, but then yeah, Phoenix Guard, 2 of them breaching the 2,000 mark on damage value. 14,000, 17,000 damage dealt total. Absolutely fantastic. Spearmen are also decent. Yeah, the archers actually were able to be countered fairly well. Javelins came in and did some pretty decent cost-effective damage to them. And then the Shredder, obviously, just with the tear routes, hard to stop without any high-mass stuff. But eventually, the Phoenixes and Ilario were just kind of able to wear them down over time. So, pretty good stuff. Well played to both these players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.